Good afternoon, state senators and state representatives. My name is Austin Davis, and I've made numerous appeals to Metro Police, the OPA, Mayor of Nashville, in the court system, Tennessee Supreme Court, Tennessee Supreme Court of Responsibility, Governor Haslam, Attorney General, and I'm not sure where else to go, but the FBI, the U.S. Attorney's Office, and I've copied you on information, but now I'm making a direct appeal to you to look into the circumstances here in Nashville. 7 years ago today, July 2nd, 2008, Metro Police came to my home, spent a couple of hours here, put me under a perpetual threat of arrest for the rest of my life for being a possible church shooter, mass shooter type of personality, mentally ill, similar to what we just saw down in Charleston, South Carolina with the killer down there. And I didn't know the reason why that had been done to me at the time, but after 7 years I've learned that and later on reported a child molestation to the Metro Police Department. Metro Police Department has sustained it and confirmed it in a recent Buzzfeed article, which came out a couple of weeks ago. Buzzfeed sent investigators down here to go to the courthouse and to look into the records and to confirm the information they were told. And if you go to Buzzfeed and you key in Mike Huckabee, and you key in John Perry, or you key in Austin Davis or Catherine Davis, you will see the story come up. It's been picked up news agencies around the country and world. And even the White House correspondent for the Daily Mail carried the story and actually got a public statement from the confessed child molester. And so I'll just refer you to that to look into that piece of the story. This is our last day in our home. We've lost our home. And we're now homeless. I'm getting bills from the appellate court. This is an appellate court bill I just received yesterday, I believe. And I've got some other bills I'm paying off to them because I have 4 lawsuits going on. And since the law enforcement has said the statute of limitations, well, they said told in Buzzfeed, which means it was extended, but they're saying it was the prosecution's been barred because of that. But in reality, there's some looseness with all of the facts in this case, and in my humble opinion, I think that the Metro Police Department did not give an honest public statement back to Buzzfeed. It's a little dubious. And when I read the statute, and y'all are the ones that wrote it, it seems to indicate that anybody that was molested between 2000 and 2000, well, I guess it's not 1997 and maybe 2006. I can't remember the exact language of the statute, but this occurred between 2000 and 2003 and falls within that. And so it says the statute or the age is 21 years old. There's an article on Wade Burleson's website. If you key in Wade Burleson and John Perry, you'll see some questions come up out of him about the statute. He's a former police chaplain over in Tulsa, Oklahoma, that's come over here to Nashville to look into what's going on here. But I got an email just yesterday or day before, I guess, from David Clymers, a sports writer at the Tennessean, told me that Buzzfeed's not a legitimate news organization, with all due respect to me. I've been meeting with the Tennessean since the police were used on me 7 years ago. I went to the Say Something seminar, spoke up there in front of a bunch of people. I've provided information to reporters all over the state, and after 7 years, not one story is being written in the state of Tennessee. And so I'm not sure if there's a legitimate news organization in the state of Tennessee. At least some people outside of the state seem to be looking in with interest. And frankly, I think that's an embarrassment to the state of Tennessee. And so I'm hoping that somebody in government, state government, some of these House representatives, state senators, that somebody who's looking at the judiciary or looking at police activity will investigate what's going on here in Nashville. I have a court hearing next Friday. The first case that was filed on June 19, 2013, and was dismissed with prejudice by Judge Carol Solomon. And in that case, she said, we didn't have one fact, not one single fact. She said, please give me a fact. We gave her John Perry's name probably at least 50 times. Police have substantiated that as a fact. And we gave her other facts, but she demolished the case. And then she demolished the second case, which was against Dale Ellen. And he's one of the men at Covenant Presbyterian Church that's, after I reported it to the police, came up and surrounded me with some other men, threatened me, told me there would be consequences with the law, all these kind of things. And, nothing happens to anyone. Chris Boyd at Vanderbilt gets charged with a sex crime cover-up, gets dragged through the streets, handcuffs put on him, and, gets punished. But other people can use the police and cover up a sex crime, cover up a concealment, and benefit someone like Mike Huckabee's running for president, and nothing at all happens. They just get a free pass. The molester gets a free pass. He's bold enough to get on in London Daily Mail, and he gets on there and talks about me having a vendetta. I don't have a vendetta. I'm trying to crawl out from under this rock that I'm under, that my family's under, and the lies that have been spread in this community about me and my family, my children, and I need some help. I'm asking for help. My wife has pleaded for help, and she's been up to the governor's office and taken letters up there. I've sent a certified letter not too long ago with information. Went to the Attorney General hearing, spoke in front with the cameras rolling, and I just don't understand why a known child molester is allowed to do what he did, and possibly to other children that I had concerns about had been put in the safe house he owned, and then other people get the weight of the law placed on them. It just seems like a double standard. So I'm asking y'all to help me. And the thing that makes it even worse about Judge Solomon is that after Buzzfeed came down here, I went down to the courthouse and went through the records myself and found out that she recused herself from the Perry divorce, concealment, alimony dispute that's gone on for years, and that she recused herself 8 days after I met with 8 police detectives down at the West Precinct, and they told us the case was closed. Michael Shreve, who's in the Van Wright case, looked at me and told me and my wife, this case is closed. Well, 8 days later, she recuses herself. A few days after that, Judge Philip Robinson recuses himself. Well, within about a month. And I think Joe Binkley's the one that ended up with the case. And so I don't understand how Judge Solomon can recuse herself, and then 7 months later, when I file a lawsuit for my family and we go into court, trusting the judges and trusting the judicial system in Tennessee, and she knows about this case and she knows the details of it and she knows what's going on, she gets up there and acts like she doesn't have any idea what's going on, tells us we hadn't presented any facts, humiliates us in the courtroom. Channel 4 News is there. Demetria Kaladimas was in the room. Camera was rolling. Warwick Robinson was in the courtroom, and demolishes the lawsuit. And then I've got to recover that. It was dismissed with prejudice. And then we went before the Tennessee Court of Appeals, and we went before the Tennessee Supreme Court. And fortunately, the Tennessee Court of Appeals reversed one of the claims and allowed it to survive. And then the Tennessee Supreme Court, at least, it didn't hit our petition. We wanted everything back. But at least they didn't demolish it and kill it. Now it's back down to Judge Kelvin Jones's court. And he seems to be, he knew and doesn't really necessarily maybe know everything, but he just dismissed it on I think it was April 24th, and he dismissed it with prejudice. And so now we're going back again next Friday, and I got to go back into court again next Friday, and I've got this information, and I've had my lawyers have been driven out of the case because they got sanctioned death and had a crowbar put on their door, and I don't even know where my lawyer is. I can't, or what my ex-lawyer, I don't even know where he lives. And so I just don't understand how this can go on in Tennessee. And I'm asking for help. I'm asking for help from the elected representatives. And frankly, people don't seem to think very much of all of you, but you're the elected representatives. You have a lot of power in the state, and I pray that you will look into what's going on here. Not only have they demolished these lawsuits, I've got to go before the appeals court on July the 22nd. Judge Solomon took a 20-something page complaint with lots of details, and she cut down like a fragment of a sentence. So I got to go back on that. Myself, representing myself without an attorney. My daughter's involved in a lawsuit with Harper Hall, and she's representing herself now. And anyway, we're up against it, and there doesn't seem to be any real justice or even any trying for it in Tennessee. Wark Robin's at the heart of this case. It's now 7 years old, and we're just now finding out what's going on. And then he's over here in the Vanderbilt rape trial and getting a mistrial. And I filed an amicus brief with them over what happened to me in the Vanderbilt rape trial when I was unlawfully banned. And then I get a bill. I have to pay a bill to the Tennessee Supreme Court for trying to let everybody know what's going on. I'm paying for all this. I'm paying for a child molestation cover-up. So, the other frustrating thing is, this is not to y'all, this will be to the Boston Red Sox organization, to Debbie Matson up there, and a lot of baseball players that contacted me a year or so ago, and after a dear friend passed away, and I was working on trying to put a project together to honor him, and had been to Mayor Dean, was trying to get a field name for him here in town to honor him. He was Ted Williams' close friend. He was a scout with the Red Sox for 60 years. He's a treasure in Nashville, and I was trying to have Nashville honor him, especially as we were building a new baseball field. But some people we got together, and I just basically was the person that knew some of the people, but we were trying to do something good for kids and for helping the youth. And Wade Boggs was kind enough to agree to be in a video, and Mike Greenwell and Luke Wren is a scout, and Jody Reed. And I just, those guys gave their time and were agreed to be on film, and the thing got started, and then this whole thing got demolished. And so I can't do anything about it anymore. I wanted to. It was a labor of love. But I hope that somebody up in Boston, I hope somebody at the Boston Red Sox, I hope that Wade Boggs and them will overlook what's going on here in Nashville and find a way to honor George Digby, who was a great man, a great Nashvilleian. And so I just am frustrated and would like some help from my elected representatives. To date, there's been no one to help me. I've had some people write me, say some things, but no help. The police in Nashville are not being truthful in their statement to Buzzfeed. If I'm wrong on that, then somebody can correct me. But when I read that statute that I'm looking at, it appears to me that the statute of limitations is 21, not 18 like the victim thinks, or even 19 if she thinks that. And so when she's in the BuzzFeed article saying that there's no cover-up and all, I mean, there's a lot of years going on here, a lot of playing around with the years. And so I just want the truth to be known. I think the truth is valuable. I know it seems to be a commodity that nobody cares about, but I think it's important. I think it's important for Nashville. And so I just ask for help from state and House representatives. I think you probably have the power to investigate. And I pray you investigate and look into what's going on here, because this is not good for our state, and I'm afraid as other reporters that are out here looking at this get into it, that it's going to make Nashville and state of Tennessee look bad. And so somebody who is a Tennessean and wants the state to have a good reputation, we need to be doing the right thing, as Mike Huckabee and John Perry wrote in their book as they launched the presidency and everything about do the right thing. Some elected representatives in Tennessee need to be doing the right thing. And so I just ask for your help. Thank you very much.